South. As you can see, I'm doing it solo dolo tonight. And we're going to be talking about, of course, it's never too early to talk about the draft and what's all going on there and what teams are looking for, things like that. So what I'm going to be doing periodically or from time to time during the off season, actually talking about the mock drafts. I'm going to pick one, and I'm going to actually observe the players or observe the players that specific mock draft has the teams in the AFC South picking. Of course, I'm going to go through the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to go to the Indianapolis Colts. I'm going to go to the Houston Texans, and I'm going to go to the Tennessee Titans. Of course, I'm only going to be doing first round. So for some of you that have already studied the draft boards, you know what that means for a particular team. Other than that, we'll go through every single team, see what all teams are going to do, what I think about those picks as well. But first, we couldn't get started without acknowledging the end of the NFL season. It was the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, as far as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, there were some people that were like, I don't know if they can win this game. I don't know about this team. There were other people that were like, okay, they're talented as the Kansas City Chiefs are, and they've got a chance. Well, not only did they have a chance, but they dominated the game. They won the game 31-9, bringing home the championship in their own stadium. Yes, their own stadium, Their own stadium. So, you got to give it to them on that one. They won their own stadium. They were able to bring home the championship, and Tom Brady has his 7th ring. Now, a lot of people will talk about Tom Brady and talking about, hey, he got a 7th ring. He's got this. He's got that. He's the greatest of all time. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about the defense. Yes, I'm going to talk about the Tampa Bay defense. Plays like this were happening all night long. You see Patrick Mahomes running around, running away, and he throws the football away. That is what happened all night long for him. That's what happened. I mean, he just could not get away from the front four the entire game. And they held one of the best offenses in the NFL to 9 points. That's right, 9 points. JPP, Jace Pierre-Paul, for those that don't know, and Shaq Barrett were in the backfield the entire game. They were just getting it done. They were getting it done. There's no other way around it. They were getting it done. They were making things happen. And you got to give props to them. You just got to give props to them. They were doing their thing. As far as the Kansas City Chiefs, they weren't doing as well as you thought they would do. You would think they would do better than what they did. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for them. They could not get anything going the entire game, and it just wasn't a good look for them. Patrick Mahomes was running around. He ran for almost 500 yards running away from Tampa Bay defenders the entire game. So, just got to give props to the Tampa Bay Bucks for winning the championship. And, of course, I know plenty of you all have seen the celebration with Tom Brady kind of looking like he's about to fall out. Yeah, he got a little too. I'd say he got a little too happy in the celebration. But hey, you can't blame him. He's celebrating, but you've got to give credit to that Tampa Bay defense. They were doing their thing, and they made it happen. All right, now let's get to the mock draft that I've selected for tonight. The first one start on touring the AFC South will be Todd McShay. For those that don't know Todd McShay is a guy that's been working on ESPN for a good minute. He's been working on there for a good minute, and he is, he's, a lot of people buy into his word. A lot of people think that he's, basically can predict anything. Me personally, he misses a lot. Him and Mel Kiper miss a lot. So, hey, it is what it is. You win some, you lose some. But for tonight, we're going to be using his draft and what his mock draft looks like. Of course, it's way early, and I'm pretty sure he's going to change it up before it's all over. But of course, we know the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're going to start with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we know they have the first pick. And we all know who they're going to pick. They're going to pick this man. That would be Trevor Lawrence. We know he throws a good deep ball. We know he had a good season, albeit it wasn't a great season because, of course, he missed a few games. Of course, he couldn't help that. And, of course, he had he missed a few games due to COVID. And, Clemson did have a good season, albeit they didn't end the season where they wanted to be, unfortunately. They didn't end the season hoisting the championship. However, that offense was still explosive. As you can see by this play, the ball placement, look at his shoulders he drives right through the football. Doesn't even have to really tilt his shoulders up to throw that football. He literally just drives right through that football, drops it right in the bucket, in stride, right over the defender. Those are the types of things that the Jacksonville Jaguars are hoping to see out of Trevor Lawrence. And he's definitely more than capable of doing so. We're going to see what happens, what kind of offense Urban Meyer would like to run with him, and we'll go from there. You may see him try to be athletic, which honestly, to me, I don't think I don't think it's going to be great, in terms of if they try to let him use his athleticism. No. Let's see. I got a few comments over here. Let's see. The O-line was not even there. Yeah, the O-line was bad. They were they were missing in action. You're right, Pablo. They were missing in action on Sunday night for the Kansas City Chiefs. What I will say is that while they were missing in action, you got to also remember two of their starting tackles were out. And of course, as I was reminded by Vashti Hurt, who was from Carolina Blitz and covers the Carolina Panthers, Mike Remmers was starting at tackle for them. Mike Remmers was the same guy who was getting blown by when the Carolina Panthers were in the Super Bowl with Cam Newton. So take it how you want. He was one of the guys out there. So essentially, they had some backups in there, but that's no excuse. They still are professionals. They still should be able to play better than that. Somebody said they were at the Super Bowl. Hey, well, congratulations, man. Hope you enjoyed yourself. Fourth row back. Good job. Good. Well, congratulations for being there. It said a swing and a miss. Yeah, definitely a swing and a miss by the Kansas City Chiefs. And the biggest thing I saw in that game, they went away from the running game really, really early. And, that's classic Andy Reid when it came to the big games. Unfortunately, yeah, he just passed the ball game, and you can't do that and win a big game. You would have thought he would have learned that from the championship game he played, the Super Bowl game he played in with Donovan McNabb and Terrell Owens. But getting back to the draft, and got a little sidebar there, but I'm back. But getting back to the draft, of course, you have Trevor Lawrence, but the Jacksonville Jaguars have the 25th overall pick too. They need a lot of things. They don't need a running back because James Robinson was a 1,000-yard rusher, undrafted, did very, very well. They don't need, of course, after drafting Trevor Lawrence, they're not going to need a quarterback. They've got pretty talented wide receivers in Chenault and Chark. So what is something they do need? They need defense. Of course, they have Jack at middle linebacker. Of course, they would like better production from him. However, he's still there. He still can improve. Drafted a corner last year. Hopefully they'll get better there. Safety play, they probably could draft somebody there. But defensive line, They were one of the worst teams at stopping the run last year. Again, one of the worst teams at stopping the run last year. So, yes, they need somebody in the middle. And this guy, Mr. Levi, if I can pronounce his last name, Onwuzurike. I may have just completely destroyed his last name. And if I did, I apologize. But he is a guy that could be the answer to their problem. If you look at him, just look in the middle of the field, the guy in the middle of the field, just look at him go, taking on a couple people there, getting down the line, making the play. I mean, just look at the play. Look at what he does. He just shrugged that one guy off and made a tackle. That is the defensive tackle play that the Jacksonville Jaguars need. They need a guy to set the line of scrimmage on the other side of the field. That is the guy they need. That is the guy that Todd McShay has for them, and I can see that fit there. He definitely can play. He definitely has agility. You just wonder, can he push the pocket back in terms of a pass rush? Because a lot of his things are, fighting with his hands, that's definitely good if he's good with his hands. But you just wonder, can he create a pass rush up the middle? If he can, then definitely he's going to be able to help them. Also, he's going to be able to help them stopping the run if he is drafted by them. Some people may think they need a pass rusher or anything like that, but they do have some guys there, some young guys there that can get after the quarterback. Just they gotta hope they are healthy. That is going to be the biggest thing there. They drafted a kid out of Kentucky that's starting at defensive lineman defensive end for them. They just got to hope he stays healthy and is able to make some things happen. If that happens, then yes, definitely they can make some things happen and start trending upward in the AFC South. So those picks right there, you've got Trevor Lawrence and you've got, okay, I'm going to try again, Levi Onwuzurike. All right. And, one other thing I want to mention about him as well, he didn't play last year. He opted out of the season. So, another thing, he's got to get back acclimated to playing football again. So, being a whole year out, that's going to be something that'll be interesting to watch. The guys that have been out for a little bit and then coming back into play. Okay, so that's who Todd McShay has for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And if you like, comment if you do like those picks. If you don't like those picks that they made, that they have potentially, hey, go ahead and say it. Make your suggestions. Because, hey, I'm here for you. And, if you want to, basically it's a mock draft. We're here to discuss it and have a good time. All right. Now, as far as Jacksonville Jaguars, we've talked about them. Next team up is the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the Indianapolis Colts, they have a few holes. Of course, most notably, you've got Phillip Rivers, who's retired. You've got Jacoby Brissett, who is a free agent. So they don't have anybody at quarterback except for Jacob Eason. And just by all indications, they're not going to bring Jacob Eason in to be the starter. He's going to be probably there, but he's just not going to be the starter. So that may be a place that they go. They could go there in the draft potentially when they pick. Could happen. It could happen. But one other place that they may need some pieces will be defensive end, outside linebacker, rush guy. They need a guy there. And of course, they've got three guys. They've got some vets that'll be free agents there. So one guy that Todd McShay had them picking was Kwity Paye out of Michigan. Pretty good sized guy. Can make some things happen, as you can see on the field, on the video right there. Of course, made a play, gets the football, sprinting off, got a lot of energy. As you watch him play, he is an explosive player off the edge. They need someone, a young guy that they can bring in and that can make some things happen, and he could potentially be that guy. Didn't really quite look at his stats. I will tell you this. I don't get caught up in looking at people's stats. I look at their play and how they get things done, because you could have a guy that's getting a bunch of sacks, but he has terrible technique and he's been playing against terrible competition. So, take that for what you'd like it to be. Of course, you look at him, he has quite a speed rush on the outside, likes to use his hands a lot in terms of beating offensive tackles. So that would be good for him in the NFL. Of course, if you see a blitz right there, he looped up under, so more likely a stunt. If you watch on his terms of getting to the quarterback, he likes to use his hands, but you don't ever really see him use any type of power rush, which that concerns me a little bit with him going into the NFL. A lot of times you need a little bit of using your hands and things like that, but you also need a power rush to kind of throw the offensive tackles off. Because if you just have one move, then eventually offenses are going to catch up to that. They're going to figure that out, and they're just going to wait on that one move. I mean, ask Vic Beasley Jr. how that worked out. Vic Beasley Jr. had just one move. He just rushed up the outside, and now he's rushed and ushered out of the NFL. So take it for how you want, but Kwity Paye, he's got the ability. I just wonder where else is he going to get better in terms of is he going to use that size to make some things happen, or is he going to depend on his speed? I think he needs to continue to grow in that technique, and hopefully for the Indianapolis Colts, if they do draft him, hopefully he will be able to improve, get better, use his hands and techniques, and be able to use his strength and get stronger in that, right, being in the NFL, to be able to make some things happen. And for those that don't know, they're drafting at the 21st pick in the NFL draft this year. Okay, let's see. Moving on to the Houston Texans. Now, as you notice, for those that have been watching, the Houston Texans have a lot of drama going on. They have Deshaun Watson, who wants to leave. They just hired a head coach, and the head coach is talking like he's going to stay there. They just had a president resign for the organization. So they've got a lot of things going on. And, God bless the person or the person that's drafted by them right now going into that chaos. However, unfortunately, or I should say maybe fortunate for some people, they do not have a first-round pick. The reason why they don't have a first-round pick is because they traded that first-round pick to Miami in order to get Laramie Tunsil, an offensive tackle, and wide receiver Kenny Stills. Kenny Stills is no longer with the team. He's bouncing around the NFL a little bit at this point. It's like he never really stuck or fit into the rotation of wide receivers that the Houston Texans had, and unfortunately, it ended up in him not being a part of the team. Now, when it comes to Laramie Tunsil is a guy that leads the NFL in false starts. Yes, he is known for leading the NFL in false starts. And with that being said, he's not necessarily protecting Deshaun Watson great either. However, they did pay him and make him one of the highest paid, if not the highest paid, offensive tackle in the NFL. So there you have it. He's the most active in false starts in the NFL, and he's one of the highest paid, if not the highest paid, offensive tackles in the NFL. Not for me to figure out. I can't make this stuff up. It is what it is, and they decided to pay him. So there you go. So for the Houston Texans, it could be a long day of just watching people pick and pick and pick and pick without them being able to do anything. However, there is one way they can pick, and that would be to trade Mr. Deshaun Watson. Now, I know the organization has said they're not trading Deshaun Watson. The coach has said he got assured that they don't want Deshaun Watson going to be there. I'm going to tell you this. I don't think Deshaun Watson's going to be there. I think when camp comes around and he continues to reiterate that he does not want to be there or a part of that organization at all, I believe that they will eventually accommodate what he wants to do and trade him. And here's the other caveat to this: Deshaun Watson has a no trade clause. So it'll be interesting to see. They could trade him, get some pieces for him, including draft picks, because reportedly they want a couple defensive starters, some draft picks, things like that. Do I think they're getting first 3 or 4 first round draft picks, or it's been discussed 3 or 4 first round draft picks. They've discussed 2 defensive starters. Do I think they're getting all that? No. Of course, with Matt Stafford going to the Los Angeles Rams, a lot of people are thinking they're going to get more than what the Lions got for Stafford, because of course you don't know, got Jared Goff, couple first round draft picks. There you go. So I would suspect they get a couple first round draft picks and Deshaun Watson. That's what I think they give up, or they get back a couple first round draft picks, maybe a player, maybe another quarterback. But I don't see them getting 3 or maybe 4 first round draft picks. No, I don't see that happening. And the sooner they realize that, the better they will be, because I don't think Deshaun Watson steps foot in that facility before. I just don't think he steps foot in that facility again. And I don't think you see that number 4 jersey he's wearing. I don't see him wearing that jersey again for the Houston Texans. So we shall see what happens, but it is what it is. Oh well. But it's a nice, interesting problem to deal with if you are the Texans. All right. So we've gone through the Jacksonville Jaguars. We've gone through the Indianapolis Colts. We've gone to the Houston Texans. And now, of course, last but not least, we will go to the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans had a very good offense last year. They were able to dominate teams in certain aspects, in terms of especially running the football. Passing the football, play action pass was very huge for them. So offensively, they didn't have a lot of issues going on. Defensively, they had a lot of issues going on. Of course, missing tackles, things like that. But one of the biggest things that they could not do, and that is rush the passer. They were 30th in the NFL rushing the passer, and their leading sack guy, Harold Landry III, 4.5 sacks. Yes, you heard that correctly. Their leading sack guy, 4.5 sacks. Now, last week, I spoke to Teron Davenport, who covers the Titans for ESPN. And, of course, he predicted that they will be going after pass rushers. They will add at least, a few this draft. And I can't say I don't agree with him. I agree with him 100%. And one of the guys that Todd McShay had going to them was this gentleman right here. He hails from the University of Georgia. That would be Mr. Azeez. Goodness gracious, Azeez Ojulari. Now, if you watch him coming off the football, he comes off the football and he comes off and he just fires off just like that. Just watch how he comes off the football. Let me bring it up again. Okay, here we go. Let me bring that up again. See, just watch how he comes off the football. Just violent rip through, and he's already at the quarterback. See, watch again. Violent rip through. He's already at the quarterback. Of course, they're the same couple films. That is a guy that the Titans need. They need a guy like this. They need a guy that can get to the passer, that can be athletic, that can make some things happen. The one thing that the Titans are probably hoping for is that he can hold up during the run as well. So if he can hold up during the run and if he can rush the passer, that would be a godsend for the Titans because they need any and everybody at defensive end, at outside linebacker. The good thing is he's coming from a Georgia defense that actually runs a 3-4. He's coming from a Georgia defense that runs a 3-4. So he's used to being standing up on the outside and making some plays happen. This would be a great pickup, and this may be a foreshadowing of more to come for the Tennessee Titans because the more pass rushers, the better. Now, I did talk to, just for Tennessee Titans fans, I did talk to, again, Teron Davenport last week. We did talk about the potential possibility of Jadeveon Clowney coming back as well. And if he comes back, of course, he's probably not going to command that big salary that he had this season. So, imagine Jadeveon Clowney on a discounted price or a lower price than last year, of course. This kid coming in, Azeez Ojulari, and then, Harold Landry III, and then potentially another defensive guy as well. Just imagine that. I would say, that would be a great thing for the Tennessee Titans. They would need that. They would be something that would add a little juice to their team. One thing I do wonder about Ojulari is how is he against the run? Can he stand up against the run as a outside linebacker? Can he set the tone and set the edge there? That is a thing to watch, a thing to pay attention to as well. And hopefully for the Titans, if he is selected there, he can kind of cure some of those, those failures that they have at that position. I just want to say thank you to Jerry Miller. Thank you for subscribing. Or for those that are watching on all different platforms, I am actually recording this on the HAPS app. As far as the HAPS app, I mean, you can basically come in here. It's a great studio setup that you have if you're going through your laptop. You can subscribe. You can actually put things on Facebook, Twitter, Periscope. Let's see, where else? Facebook, but I don't know. You can basically put things a lot of places, and YouTube too. That's where I was missing. But you can actually put things on YouTube as well. I mean, and you can do them all at the same time, which makes it even greater to have. So, definitely something I like to use. I mean, if you like, you can subscribe like Jerry Miller did. He subscribed to me tonight, and I thank you, Jerry. You can also, when you subscribe or when you actually join the HAPS app, you can actually get coins. You get 100 coins. If you would, you can actually you can actually give those coins out to the actual people that you're watching. Of course, I do thank you for any of those that want to subscribe, who want to be, of course, a sponsor as well. You can do that too. I just thank you all for who all have tuned in, who all have subscribed, and just continue watching as we continue to tour the AFC South every week. Now, of course, with those picks, there's definitely going to be scrutiny as we get back to the NFL draft. Now, one thing that's going on with Trevor Lawrence this offseason is he's having off-season shoulder surgery on his non-throwing shoulder. So that's something to watch as well. I mean, he did take a lot of hits when he was in college as well, the latter years, I would say. But it's going to be interesting to watch. He's going to actually throw before he had surgery on that throwing shoulder, that non-throwing shoulder. So it's going to be interesting to watch and see how he recovers from that because, no surgery is just called a minor surgery. People want to say it's a minor surgery, but it's still a surgery. It's still something you have to get done. And it's not necessarily going to just be something you can just gloss over as well. So, that's something to watch. And then also for their other draft pick, you want to pay attention to see if he actually can acclimate himself back to the NFL from being out for, so long. in terms of playing college football and playing any organized football at all. So it'll be interesting to see if he's able to acclimate himself right then and there when he comes back. As far as the Colts pick in Kwity Paye, Kwity Paye has all the tools, but I just wonder, is he going to show up and be Taco Charlton? For those that aren't aware of who Taco Charlton is, Taco Charlton was a defensive lineman that came out of Michigan as well. A lot of people were high on him. Dallas drafted him, and then he didn't show up. He essentially was a guy that was buried on the depth chart, and essentially he got cut. He went to Miami, and he got cut again. And now at this point, he's probably no one knows. I don't know where he is in the NFL at this point. So, that's my concern for him. He does have great athleticism for a man his size. He's about 6'4", about 270. So he's very athletic for his size. He doesn't look 270, does he? I don't know if you all saw the film earlier that I put up, but yeah, he doesn't look 270, but he definitely can make some things happen. He definitely is a big man. So I just wonder, can he not only get more skills in terms of, transitioning from college to the pros, he's going to have to develop more pass rush moves to be successful. Hey, how you doing, Takara? I'm on there talking a little bit of NFL, so having a good time doing that. As far as the pick there, he's going to have, if he gets drafted, he's going to have a lot of opportunity to play and basically make his mark on the game. Hopefully for the Colts, it's a good mark on the game and not a bad mark because they need him. They've got some decisions to make essentially at defensive end, and they've got to get younger. I mean, Justin Houston is a talented player, and he's been around for a long time. You need to get some youth in there, some new blood. And hopefully for them, Kwity Paye is their guy. As far as the Houston Texans, I mean, honestly, I think they need to go ahead and trade Deshaun Watson. Yes, it needs to happen. It just needs to happen. I don't understand what they're waiting on, what they think they're going to convince him of, but he's not going to be playing on that team. He just doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be there. He said he doesn't want to be there. He asked for a trade. I don't think there's any way you're going to convince him not to want to trade unless they've got something they're holding over his head, which he holds a no trade clause. So I don't think that's going to be something they can hold over his head. They can't put him anywhere he doesn't want to go. So there you go. Say I don't know a thing about it, so maybe I'll learn a thing or two. Well, I'll tell you this, Takara. I may actually do films kind of breaking down the game to people who don't understand the game and want to understand the game, and kind of do like a film session of breaking down different positions. But of course, that isn't this one. But just hang on, we may do that. All right, and then last but not least, going over to the Tennessee Titans. Of course, they need any pass rusher, and bringing Aziz in is going to be good for them. They need somebody that can come in and make an impact. Hopefully he'll be that guy. Hopefully he'll be everything that they wish he is if he's if he's drafted by the Tennessee Titans. Of course, we don't know what's going to happen. We'll see what happens, and we'll go from there. As you all can tell, I went through all 4 teams in the AFC South. This is, of course, episode 5 of touring the AFC South. I thank everybody that tuned in tonight. If you ever have any questions or anything like that, you can always find me on Twitter at Mike Patton 82. That's Mike Patton. That's Patton 82. You can find me on there, pretty much talking sports or talking some of anything. I mean, I don't just limit myself to talking sports on there, but definitely check me out on there. You can find me, of course, on Facebook as well. Mike Patton. I got my own page there. Whatever. Anyway, you can mostly find me on Twitter at Mike Patton 82. You can also find me writing on the Titans for the 3-point conversion. As you can see, my shirt here. Let me get up real quick and show you my shirt. See, 3-point conversion, as you all can see. Go there and check it out, 3pointconversion.com. My guy, Danny Thompson, he's on here in the HabSap. He actually covers the Charlotte Hornets. After every game, he's doing a post game and talking about the team and basically giving you a rundown of the game and answering your questions. We may have some more people from the squad, of course, joining the HabSap, but of course, you'll see them when I see them. And I hope we will. Also, you can find me on. You can also find some of my work in different publications as well. Of course, I post that from time to time again on Twitter, Mike Patton 82. So, definitely, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for your time. Thank you all for touring the AFC South with me. Next week, we will have a special guest, and we will get to the bottom of the conundrum that is the Houston Texans right now. Yes, we're going to have some Deshaun Watson talk. We're going to have some Houston Texans culture talk next week, and we will have a special guest that knows quite a bit about what's going on with the Houston Texans. I've been your host. I'm your host, Mike Patton. I thank you for tuning in, and you all have a great night. Oh, I'm sorry, didn't say. Thank you, Irvin S., for subscribing. Appreciate that. And thank you for everybody that tuned in tonight. I'll see you right back here next week. Special time next week will be 7 p.m. Central Standard Time or 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you're somewhere else. But, yes, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time next week. How you doing, Beavis6953? Thanks for tuning in. Just wrapping up the show, but I definitely thank everyone for tuning in. You all have a great night. I'm out.